Edward strikes out. All the engines on Sodor are very happy to work on the Fat Controller's railway. Edward has worked on the railway the longest. He knows everyone and everyone knows him. One summer morning, Edward arrived at the docks. He had to pick up some heavy pipes. Gordon and Thomas were already there. Thomas was very excited. A new crane had just arrived on the island. Puffed Thomas. Gordon didn't think this was funny, and Thomas chuffed away. Gordon sniffed. Edward looked at the crane. Gordon was right. Huffed Gordon. Just then, Percy arrived. He was very excited to see the new crane, too. Boomed Gordon. Echoed Edward. Wheezed Gordon, and he chuffed off. Peeped Percy. Huffed Edward as grandly as he could. Edward's trucks were right next to a new crane. The crane smiled at Edward. Huffed Edward. Asked Rocky. Sniffed Edward. And he puffed off quickly before the pipes had been properly tied down. Edward was approaching the signal. He was thinking about Rocky, and he was going too fast. Suddenly, the signal changed to red. Edward screeched to a stop, but the sides of the trucks collapsed. Steel pipes toppled all over the tracks. Puffed Edward. He looked at the heavy pipes and wondered what to do. Thomas had said that Rocky was very strong, and he asked his driver to telephone for Harvey. Harvey puffed and chuffed as fast as he could to the rescue. Harvey started to move the pipes, but the pipes were very heavy. He could only lift them one by one. Gasped Harvey. Just then, Thomas and Emily arrived. They saw the pipes. Tooted Thomas. Whistled Edward. Pouted Emily. Then they heard Gordon. He was going fast. Then there was trouble. Gordon hit the pipes with a loud crunch. He came off the tracks. It was a terrible mess. Sighed Harvey. Tooted Thomas. Gordon sniffed. But Edward knew this was a disaster, and he knew that Harvey couldn't lift Gordon. There was only one thing to do. Edward wheezed, and he raced off. Edward steamed into the docks. He whistled Rocky happily, so Edward buffered up to Rocky, and together they left to the junction. Edward pulled Rocky up hills and down valleys. Everyone cheered and waved with them. Edward felt very proud to be pulling the newest arrival on Sodor. Edward soon pulled up with Rocky. Rocky smiled, and with his mighty crane arm, Rocky lifted Gordon back onto the tracks. Gordon was surprised. He huffed. Then Rocky lifted all the pipes out of the rails. The job was done in no time. Gordon and Edward were very impressed. Wheezed Edward to Rocky, and everyone tooted and cheered for Rocky.